It's been a long time since we've seen Colby Covington in action, and there's been a bit of conjecture over whether or not, Rob, he deserves this title shot, but you believe it's justified for Colby.
Yeah, I as justified as it gets in the UFC, am I right? It's with the profile he's got behind him, with the way he has beaten a lot of real high caliber dudes, with just the presence he brings into the division. I think it's a good fight for Leon. And you know, a lot of people would see the fight as being a bad fight for Leon just because of Colby's style. He really just pushes on the pace, takedown after takedown. And I would have agreed with him a lot of the times, except until I had seen the way Leon beat Usman last fight. That was unbelievable. To see the way he took away all of Usman's strengths and just controlled the range and really held him at striking range and kept him threatened the entire fight. I think he can do that against Colby as well. But I do think Colby is a good fight to make for a title shot. Everyone's going to tune in for it. And, you know, we're talking about it now.
And you have tremendous respect, of course, for Colby Covington's wrestling and grappling acumen, right?
Oh, definitely. Colby's... I've been ringside to a couple of his fights, and Colby's gas tank, it's said, like you hear in the lead-up interviews and stuff like that, his coaches always say he's got like an extra lung, and I believe it wholeheartedly because I saw him fight a number of times ringside, and just his output is unreal. To be able to throw 7 punches, 10 punches, and then shoot, and then come back up and do it again and do it again, it was unbelievable to watch. But I do think, though, in saying that, on the other side of the fence, Leon has the weapons to threaten him, and you saw when he fought Usman the first time and second time, that when there's a threat to him coming in and he can't just do what he wants with his takedowns, he has a bit of problems. So, yeah, wait and see.
His defensive wrestling was, as you mentioned, very, very impressive against Kamaru Usman, being able to negate the former champion's advances on the ground and in the grappling exchanges. And then, of course, in that second fight that they had, that incredible head kick knockout. I wonder if we'll see something similar this weekend, because we know he's certainly capable of it, Leon Edwards.
Oh, definitely. And the amount of weapons Leon has is going to give Colby something to worry about, because Colby's been caught before. We've seen him in fights get caught. And like I said, Colby, they can't go in, rush you down, wear you out, and then start spamming takedowns on you. Has trouble. He does. If he's kept at arm's length, he has trouble. And Leon is I would think, the perfect example of someone who's going to use his weapons to keep you threatened the entire fight. But as we saw in his last fight, he has the ability to stop those takedowns. So I'm excited for this fight.
And the thing about Leon Edwards is he's so cool. We saw Colby Covington, I think, get under Jorge Masvidal's skin a little bit the last time out. I don't think Leon's going to fall for those traps in the same way. Yeah,
I do believe you're right. Like, he is very cool, calm, collected. And I think when he won the belt the first time, he slowly settled into being a champ. And I like the way he's done that. We saw a higher level of athlete and a more composed athlete than the first fight. So I'm excited to see the best version of Edwards.
How do you think he's going to handle the trash talk from Chaos Covington, though?
You know, I think it would have had more of an impact a couple of years ago. I feel like, don't you agree with me? I feel like Colby's edge is played out a little bit. Obviously, he's still out there, and he still mouths off like you would not believe. I think we said it before the recording. Like, he's like a real life keyboard warrior. It's unreal, and he's definitely going to do that stuff. But I feel like that's been played out a bit. People have gotten used to him now. They understand what he's going to do a little bit.
Gotten a bit tired.
Yeah, then he had that time off, and it kind of took the edge and the hype and the spotlight away, kind of thing. I think that's also why he's kind of yelling at everyone at the moment, even though he's got a fight this weekend.
Right. Well, Chaos Covington has been kind enough to join the show, so here's our Fighter FaceTime, brought to you by Nets. Well, Colby Covington, thank you so much for your time here on Fox Sports Australia. Colby, it's been way too long. We've missed you very, very much. Where's Colby Covington been?
Yeah, I've missed my boys down under as well. You know, I'm sorry that I haven't been here to entertain you guys. You know, that's all I want to do for you fans in Australia is just put on an entertaining show. But I've been in the gym. Everybody knows my work ethic. I love to train, work hard, and just elevate my craft and elevate my game. So I've been in the gym. I've been working hard, and obviously I've been hanging out with Donald Trump, getting some dragon energy from him, learning some strategies and game plans for the fight. And then also, I've been working on a nonprofit charity for veterans, first responders, and military here in America. It's called America's Champions Foundation, and we're going to do good and help give back to our heroes and the ones that put on all the service and sacrifice for us to keep our freedoms.
It's great to hear, Colby. What has President Trump been teaching you?
He's been teaching me so much, just about just having a game plan and just sticking to it. Don't let the emotions of the crowd, don't let the energy, the electricity that he's going to bring to the fight, because he's going to be sitting front row. And he's like, Colby, I don't want you to get distracted because I'm going to be there. Because every time I come, it's a big deal. I'm the most famous person on earth, which he is. He's the greatest person on earth right now. But he just said, don't get distracted. Stick to the game plan. You know where you're best. You've been wrestling your whole life. So, take it to this guy. Bring out the dog in me and bring out the quitter in Leon.
Well, speaking of Leon, are you sure you know his name? Because I've heard you address him as Leon before, but maybe a bit confused as to what his last name is. Are you sure you know the name of the man that you're fighting this weekend?
Yeah, it's Leon Scott.
Leon Scott. Well, on a serious note, though, Colby, you are facing Leon Edwards this weekend for the welterweight championship. What excites you most about this challenge?
Yeah, low IQ Leon Scott. What excites me most is just being able to prove all the doubters wrong. Everybody says this guy's some pound for pound beast and he's this and he's that. I don't see anything more than a cheater, a guy that likes to poke people in the eyes. He likes to kick people in the nuts. He likes to grab the fence. So, I think what most excites me is, American versus British. We had a war. It was called 1776, the Revolutionary War. And what that means is the British don't come to American soil and call the shots. It means you're about to come to America all the way over here, and Leon's about to get his ass kicked and sent home empty-handed. You don't fuck with America, Junior.
Well, Colby, one of my co-hosts on this show, Robert Whittaker, is firmly in your corner, and he has said for the longest time that Colby Covington deserves the next welterweight title shot. But Colby, how do you respond to criticism outside that suggests that maybe you don't deserve the title shot over someone like Bilal Muhammad, for instance?
Oh, I deserve it over definitely that racist guy who said the only reason I'm getting this title fight is because of the color of my skin. He said I'm only getting this title fight because I white privilege. So that guy's racist. Why would they give him a title fight when he already fought the guy and nobody watched during COVID when nobody had anything to do? So, I deserve this fight. I earned this fight. Look at my resume. I've beaten Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer after first ballot Hall of Famer, champion after champion, 5-round fight after 5-round fight. So it's not my fault that people have been ducking me. I've been ready to fight since I gave George the 50-43 in Minnesota last March. Kamshat Chimaev, he ducked me. He ran away from my division because he was scared. He was scared of Raw American Steel and Twisted Sex Appeal because he knows he can't hang with me for 5 rounds. 3 rounds, he melts. He knows he's a 10-man, and I bring out the dog, and he quit inside that octagon. So there's a reason that I've had to sit out because everybody's been ducking me. But they cannot duck me no more. This is a publicly traded company, a multi-billion-dollar, amazing company. And next week, I'm going to freaking give these investors a great show.
Well, speaking of the tactics for this fight, Colby, at first glance, this fight looks like a really bad matchup for Leon Edwards, considering how good your offensive wrestling is. But we said a similar thing before that second Kamaru Usman fight that he had, and he impressed us all with how good he was able to negate the former champion. Were you impressed at all by that performance?
No, I wasn't impressed at all. He used every cheating thing he could do in that fight. He poked Usman in the eyes. He grabbed the fence, and then they stopped the position. That was the craziest thing I've ever seen in a fight. Usman took him down. He was about to start wearing on him and break his will, and then he grabs the fence, and they just stand him back up and just take a point away. Like, I'd rather have the position. Why do I want the point? I want to break that guy's will and potentially submit him or TKO him on the ground. So, the thing is it's crazy because every UK fan that came up to me after that fight were like, dude, that's not the same Usman you fought, Colby. That guy looks like a shell of his former self. He looks like a guy that's a little washed up, and he's just fighting for paychecks. So, I'm going to expose Leon next weekend. He's a little overhyped, a little overconfident, and he's overlooking me, and he's gonna find out the hard way. He's going to be counting the lights next Saturday night.
Well, speaking of fighters who are impressive on the ground, someone else who is quite impressive there is the lightweight champion Islam Makhachev, who has stated his desire to move up to 170 pounds and fight for a second title. And as much as it pains me to say, he was quite impressive in his last outing against our very own Alexander Volkanovski. How do you think you would match up, Colby, against the lightweight champion in Islam Makhachev?
I think I match up great. I'm the last guy that trained the last guy that knocked him out, Adriano Martins, another southpaw. So, I was training and beating up on Adriano before he knocked out Makhachev. So I think it's a big fight. USA versus Russia. It's got the Rocky 5 storyline, Rocky versus Drago. Sambo, Russian Sambo versus American wrestling. I think it's a spectacle, and I think it's the biggest and best fight. If he wants to claim to be a pound-for-pound great and a pound-for-pound #1 fighter, then he needs to actually fight in his real weight class. Why is he cutting all that weight to be a weight bully and bully these guys? I mean, dude, no disrespect to Volkanovski, but dude, the guy's like literally 5'2". So of course he's going to land that head kick. I mean, what happens when he fights a 6 raw American steel twisted sex appeal who has better wrestling than him, who has better striking than him? Honestly, I would honestly exploit his weaknesses, and it would look like an amateur versus a professional.
Well, that fight very well may take place in the future, but speaking of the future, a prospect that has got all of Australia talking right now is our very own Jack Della Maddalena, who's very confident he can break into that top 5 very soon. Can I just get your thoughts on young Jack?
Who?
Jack Della Maddalena, a boy from Perth who's really been tearing up the welterweight rankings.
He fights in the UFC?
He does. Never heard of him?
Really? I've never heard of him, but no disrespect to any UFC competitor because I love the UFC. But the thing with me is, I've been at the top of the mountain for the last, 6, 7 years. I only pay attention to the people that are in front of me or right beside me. So, of course, I'm only focused on Leon, Islam, maybe the Marty trilogy, maybe even Burns because the Brazil thing. But, I'm not focused on guys who haven't headlined and made event pay-per-view after pay-per-view like myself.
Fair enough. Well, hopefully we get to see him ascend the rankings very, very soon. And who knows, maybe a matchup will take place. But Colby, your prediction on what happens this weekend against Leon Edwards, how are you going to get it done?
I'm not the biggest. I'm not the strongest. I'm just the nastiest. And, my body is a vessel driven by the grace of God and the power of the American dream. So I've been delayed, but next weekend I won't be denied. I'm bringing out the dog in me, and I'm going to bring out the quitter in Leon.
Well, Colby Covington, thank you very much for your time on Fox Sports. We can't wait to see you in action.
Thank you, brother. God bless you, and much respect to all the fans down under.